So, show in Pittsburgh Live. I guess the Pirates are doing well. I haven't really been paying attention, but I saw them winning last night. I think 4-0, something like that. And I just want to say, fuck you, the fucking Verizon guy that sold me my fucking phone. Look, man, I bought the phone. I even did a review on it and gave it like 3 stars or something like that. That's a flash shirt. You guys like it? You dig it? So what I've been doing is asking, how can I how can I make the videos better? What can I do? Well, for one, I can darken my skin a little bit and not have the spotlight directly on me, so you can actually see my sunburn. I know how attractive sunburn can be, but and what they said was, just stick to one topic at a time. I feel like I already do that. If I don't, I mean, I don't have ADHD or anything like that, but if I'm gonna make a video and you guys are gonna spend anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes to a half an hour of your time watching me talk, then at least keep you interested or keep you entertained. Sometimes it's hard to stick to one specific topic for freaking 28 minutes. On occasion, like, I'm a big fan of the MMA Nuts. Shout out to MMA Nuts. And it's just Dave and I'm sorry, I forgot other dude's name. Um, Griffith, sitting on one side, and basically, like, I have my couches set up over here, and they just spit knowledge back and forth and predictions, but they don't give betting odds. And that would be something that I would put in, like, give betting odds. I like to know what the spread is. I like to know what Vegas odd makers are giving people. And I did bite. I should have bit my tongue a little bit. Pre UFC on Fox 4. But not with Vera. I'm not talking about with Vera. I know that's immediately what you jump to. I think that Shogun. Here's the way I break down MMA, and I like to do it because it's easy. Is there's different types of syndromes that fighters get. The way I like to do things is the easiest way, and the easiest way for me to do things is just to kind of tag things. Like we'll give an example. Vanderlei Silva, Chuck Liddell. They put on an epic war. I think in 2009, 2010. Fight of the year, easy. I mean, there was no question. It was a 3-round war, and now, had that been a main event, we would have got 5 full rounds of action, and someone would have been knocked out. And I'm pretty damn sure it would have been the Axe Murderer. I think the Iceman could have put him away. He ended up getting a 30-29 and 2 30-27s. So it was a good night for Chuck Liddell. And it looked like he was coming back until the next 4 fights. But the Chuck Liddell syndrome, you don't want to quit MMA. You think you still have a lot to offer the sport. Either that, or you feel like you're not done yet. You feel like you can still fight and compete at the highest level when looking from the outside in. You're just his chin was wilting. I saw it. I mean, Rashad Evans showed it. Keith Jardine showed it with a few knockdowns. God, that list goes on, doesn't it? It's so sad because the Iceman was my dude back in the day. The Iceman and Jens Pulver have always been I've always been huge fans of both of them. The sprawl and brawl style back in the day, I liked the way they fought. They fought to end fights. They fought to put you away. Pulver Gomi, one of my favorite fights of all time. Liddell Ortiz, 1 and 2, favorite fights of all time. I mean, they're legends of the sport, and that's the Liddell syndrome, not knowing when to quit. The Vanderlei Silva syndrome, still fighting, because you don't believe that you think you're still up here when you're not, and that to me is not an opinion. Vanderlei Silva is not a top 3. He's not top 3, and he's not top 5. Not in the 205 weight division. He's not. I don't follow that. I don't see that. I mean, we all saw what Rampage did to him, and I mean, Bleacher Report has Rampage up at number 10. So I don't see him, winning another title. Certainly not a UFC title, and I don't see him dropping weight classes are going up. I just don't see him doing anything or getting. There's nothing left to prove. Dana always says, you know, he wants Forrest Griffin to retire because he has nothing left to prove. Well, what you got? Wanderlei Silva on your roster still, and he's going to be with you for a long, long time. Why? Because he put on a good performance against Rich Franklin in Rio. Okay, great. Well, he did. This is true. Until the third round. You know, he blew his wad trying to put Franklin away in the second, and it was a cunt hair excuse that I know a lot of people don't like that. I think it's hilarious, but a lot of people don't like it. He was this close to burying Franklin. I mean, he was this close. One more solid punch and two more punches, and it would have been declared TKO in the second round. And Silva would, you know, he would have proved a lot of people wrong, including me. But I had Franklin for the win, and that's what ended up happening. A lot of people had Franklin for the win, and we were all right. So I mean, that comeback, had he not beat Kung Lee, he'd have been gone, and he'd have been gone. I think Chael Sonnen would trash him. I really do. I think his wrestling, when Chael wants a double, he's taking a double. He made a huge tactical error in throwing a spinning back fist at a Muay Thai expert at the Anderson Silva caliber. It wasn't the Anderson Silva caliber. It was against Anderson Silva in the most important fight of your life, and you went for a high-risk, low-reward maneuver. I don't know, you know. I think that, you know, he when they declared it a TKO, he popped up, he was fine, took his mouthpiece out, he wasn't busted up, he was totally fine. I think he was content. Yeah, whatever, there's nothing you can do. Last time I bitched, you know, and said I didn't tap, there was all this hoo-ha, blah, blah, blah. When the referee says stop, you're done. I think he accepted it, you know, learned to accept it from the first fight. The guy said stop. He said, okay, fuck it, I lost, and it was over, you know. I see, I'm going to make this prediction now, maybe not, won't come true for years, but I see Sonnen outlasting Silva in the as far as Zuffa goes. I think Silva will retire. I don't think Sonnen's going to quit until he gets a strap, so, and I'd love to see who they have on deck for the following fighters. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen, BJ Penn. That's an interesting, touchy subject right now. Nick Diaz and Uriah Faber. I would love to see who and how these people are going to fight next. I don't know. You know, I'd like to take a look through, you know, the top 10 and see who I think, and shout out to you guys. But, you know, and then there's another syndrome that I just picked up. I just started using last week. That's the BJ Penn syndrome. That's cardio. That's bad cardio. Chuck Liddell, bad chin. Like literally can't take a punch anymore. That's Chuck Liddell. One of my favorite. It's not hating. I'm not being a dick, and in no way, shape, or form am I like. I'm just trying to make it easier on myself. You know, it's just yeah. Well, you know, he's got the Chuck Liddell syndrome. Just, you know, doesn't realize that he, you know, doesn't have the power to take that much punishment as he once did. Jens Pulver, the Jens Pulver syndrome, where you just keep fighting, you know, and losing the same way. And that's the Jens Pulver syndrome. The BJ Penn syndrome, again, cardio, and Wanderlei Silva, not realizing that right now your health probably okay for the rest of your life. You're rich. You've done everything there is to do in the sport. I don't see you making a run, and neither do you. Let's be honest with yourself. You know, I don't think maybe he does. I mean, if he does, boy, I'd love to think. What do you think? Do you think that Wanderlei Silva has what it takes to make another run at the 205 or 185, either or, belt? Do you think that he can win the middleweight or light heavyweight titles in the UFC within the next, we'll say, 3 or 5 years, from this moment on to 5 years? See what you think. Does Wani have it? Does Shogun have it? You know, I'm starting to think that Shogun, Shogun has the BJ Penn syndrome. You know, he's been known to have cardio issues. Again, his Octagon debut, Forrest Griffin, huge underdog, and he gets strangled. You know, I mean, Griffin was the underdog, and Shogun gets strangled. Forrest Griffin's not known as a finisher, never really was. I seen him finish Elvis Sanosic. I seen him finish. I saw him finish Shogun, and that's it. I don't remember him finishing anyone else. Do you? I mean, I know he comes. I know he comes to fight. I do, but I also know that when he hears, like, you know, there's 1 minute left, 30 seconds left, he either tries to steal the round or rests. You know, when he thinks that he's comfortable or thinks that he's ahead on score, he rests. You know, even if he's on bottom, he'll pull guard and just, you know, clinch an overhook and just hold as long as he thinks he has the round. It's point fighting, you know, and it's a sport, so it's allowed. I approve of it, you know, as long as it's exciting. What Carlos Condit did to Nick Diaz was not exciting. That was point fighting, but it wasn't exciting by any means. I mean, it really was that exciting. And if you say yes, you're saying yes because Nick Diaz made that video. He made, no, sorry, not the video. I'm making the video. He made that fight exciting. He made that fight exciting because he kept asking Carlos, what do you got? You know, what do you have for me? He's so appeasing to the eye to watch. You just want to watch him talk shit. You want to talk shit, whether you want to watch him talk shit and get knocked out, or you want him to talk shit and you know, and then just like walk through some punches and kicks and knock the fuck out of the opponent. You know, if Nick Diaz is on the card, chances are people are going to buy it. I know I am. I'm a huge Cesar Gracie fan. A huge Scrap Pack fan. Huge Nick Diaz fan. Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey, Gil Melendez, the entire crew. I'm forgetting a guy. I know I am. I'm sorry. Jake Shields on the next card. And he's going against Ed Shortfuse Herman. Not quite sure how I feel about that because I feel like he deserves a higher caliber fighter. But that's why they fight. We'll see in 2 days. I'm sorry, 5 days. So, well, it depends when I edit this video, really, and get this whole thing put out. But, yeah, in a few days, we'll see. This week, we'll see if he's better than Shortfuse Herman. And if he's not, you know, maybe he has the, you know, it depends how he loses. Maybe he has a syndrome, you know. I like doing it that way. I think it's fun. It jacks some people off, and it makes some people laugh. I don't know. It's just a simple way of organizing to me. Today I was looking through Bleacher Report, and I said, man, I really miss my calling, you know. I fucked up as a youngster, you know. I really fucked up as a youngster growing up in Pittsburgh. It was just... It was so, I mean, weed was everywhere. Weed was like the thing to do, you know. If you didn't smoke weed, you weren't. Who are you? You know. There was, I mean, I'm so glad that now that I'm grown and have children that you know, it's like it's not cool to smoke cigarettes anymore. It's not cool to chew snuff anymore. It's cool to be different, you know. And when I was growing up, it wasn't. You know, it was cool to be in the cool guy clique, and I fell victim to that. I was weak-minded, you know. I was weak-minded, and I wrestled, and until I really, you know, really got into jiu-jitsu, I was fairly weak-minded, you know. And second degree blue belt, I feel great, you know. I have a tons of self-confidence, not so much in the way I look, but what I know I can do. And what I've achieved and how much I had to strive and work to get there. Yeah, I'll take that, you know. Anyway, moving right along here. UFC 151. UFC 151. Let me pop it up because I think we have some interesting things to talk about. UFC 151 features this is a tricky one because the odds change almost daily. I'm an odds guy. I like to bet, and yeah, like I said, I like to see what the spread is, what I'm going to make, and I know that Johnny Bones Jones pulled out at -700. For those who don't know, again, that means for every $700 that you would bet, you would make $100 on top if Bones wins. But you got to put 700 down in order to bet. You know, kind of like Ante Up. Dan Henderson was a plus 400. That would mean for every 100 you put down, you win 400 if he wins the fight. That's how that goes. I mean, they come in some crazy, crazy ways. So until once you get used to it, once you understand it, it's fairly easy to identify. So anyway, yeah, they had him so far ahead. I haven't seen that big of a spread since Jan Finney and Cyborg Santos. I think Cyborg Santos was negative 1250 to plus 800. Why the hell? Why the fuck would you put someone in there that you know? Jan Finney was 6-6. What Cyborg was, I don't know, what 30-0 or whatever. And you're, how in the fuck do you think Jan Finney deserves a title shot against someone like that? You know, she could have got killed, and Kim Winslow should be fucking fired. That she could have been. I mean, she wanted out of there bad, but she's got hard for days. Jan Finney, she hung in there. She didn't tap. I mean, Cyborg put a beating, a brutal beating on her. Never tapped. She's a warrior. She's a warrior. I really followed her since. I'm not quite sure if she's still with Strikeforce. Also, August 18th, we have, of course, I totally forgot about that, Ronda Rousey. Oh, Ronda. We got Ronda Rousey coming up. Facing Sarah Kaufman. Here's another huge spread. I think she's a 7-1 favorite as well. Or like 4 or 5. I can't remember. I'll tell you in 1 second. But, you know, to me, they're not giving Kaufman nearly enough credit. It's Ronda striking that you know is her weakness, and it's her wrestling, takedowns, submissions that are her strength. So you know, styles and fights. Kaufman has Rousey's weakness. Rousey has Kaufman's weakness. I mean, look at their records. You know, just their records alone should play into something, but it doesn't. You know, most of the time, and just because Ronda Rousey's a giant star, she's supposed to do well. No, I want to see what happened there in the 209. I want to see what happened in Stockton. She was working with both Nick and Nate Diaz, Cedar Gracie, so that means she worked on some amazing boxing. Those two have the best boxing in mixed martial arts. They've adapted this amazing, incredible, pinpoint, the Stockton way of boxing. They've adapted it to MMA so well, and it's so effective, and no one can do it except for these two extremely talented, smart from Stockton, California. Nick Diaz, by the way. Really, these spreads are driving me nuts.
Cost check is out of the co-main event, so didn't know that. Sorry, should probably mentioned that earlier. I really didn't do all that much homework on it. But we can always wing it. If you're watching a video of this length, you probably have some hands. Kick back and enjoy. I'll talk to you. I always have time to talk, man. Well, at night, I have time to talk. Okay. Yeah, for whatever reason, cost checks out. Cost check grew up